A video has gone viral over the last week of a kind of gentleman releasing an adorable squirrel into the wild, which sounds extremely cute. Until you get to the horrible nature is brutal twist ending, which unfortunately anybody could see coming from a mile away.
I have not seen this video. But I have it lined up.
I'm just going to say this. The man tenderly strokes the squirrel before setting it free, whilst a woman films. Look at the camera and say goodbye, Hoss. Go up the tree.
Go up the tree.
Look at the camera and say goodbye to Hoss.
Going up the tree. There you go. There you go. Going up that tree. There you go. There you go. Can you make it? Can you make it?
Oh! 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 Oh!
Let that be a reminder that, ladies and gentlemen, nature does not give a fuck. But us,
Oh my God!
anything, it just does what it does. And
shock to the system. Holy fuck.
When I first was reading the article and expecting something awful at the end of the video, thought that thing was going to just jump on his face and like claw at his eye.
I thought like maybe like an eagle or something was going to come and like snatch it off the tree or something. I thought it was going to be a bird.
No, it was their tabby cat.
Oh shit.
You're welcome.
Fucking awful. That is totally that dude is heartbroken.
Yeah. Well, why? I don't know, because it's what we do here on Topic Thunder.
Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledging knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, brews, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
Welcome in, everybody, once again to that cozy little slice of the internet, the cool internet saloon that wasn't advertised and your friends only whispered about. This is Topic Thunder. That's Ben. I'm Brooks, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Saw in the advertisement that we said Sunday night.
Yeah, every once in a while it becomes a Monday night, and it's cool because we're free flowing here. Like when we got shit to do on Sundays, because like you and I, let's be honest, breaking down the fourth wall here, we both have full-time jobs. We set aside time typically on Sunday evenings to try to do this thing, but sometimes other shit comes up, and sometimes it's last minute. Sometimes somebody's sick. Sometimes we got something going on, and it's just easier to say, "Hey, man, you want to just kick this to Monday night?" And so sometimes we're here on Monday nights as well.
And then sometimes the news gods gift us when we delay the show, which we're going to get to.
Boy. Wow. We got lucky. Sometimes you luck into the top story being handed to you because you were a day late. Yes, 100%. Going to be great.
So again, welcome to Topic Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on Instagram at Topic Thunder Podcast. You can find us on Twitch, Topic Thunder Podcast. Hey, if you just click the links that we're going to be sharing now, we have a link tree that I've underutilized. I mean, we've underutilized here. And you go to our link tree now, you can find the individual streams because we're on Twitch, we're on YouTube, like all the cool people. So you can find us there. That link tree is going to be thrown around. If you just go to link tree, I believe it's just Topic Thunder Podcast. You can check us out. We occasionally post stories, and I think we've had some monumental energy here going on in the office lately. There's been a lot of movement, and this isn't just smoke anymore now. Like, let's just say there are things recorded, things on tape,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and it's a matter of oh, hey, thanks. That's they're spider plants. They make a lot of oxygen. They recycle air. It's really healthy to have spider plants in your house. Thank you, Hayden.
I think he's also talking about the cool apartment buildings and like the high rise kind of look. Your background is way cooler than mine. I will say that.
It's a struggle because in the night, in these when the sun's down now, it's 7 Central, everything's cool, right? But like if you go back and look at like the June shows, it's just like it's the Temple of the Sun. There's just light blaring through down here. It's terrible. Bad optics.
Hayden is not a big plant guy. Who knew that?
You don't have to do anything. Seriously, no. Oh, come on, Mr. Delta HX, like the hates plants. Come on. You don't really have to water them a whole lot. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to. You just kind of put them in a pot. You just kind of let them go, and they look cool, and they just recycle air. It's good. It's good for you. It's healthy. Let's all be healthy. We've talked about that about recycling air. Get some spider plants, man. Spider plants. Anyway, welcome back to the show. We had a link tree. I don't know where we were going with that, but if you're just joining us,
what we were saying is we want you to share the link if you can right now. If you're watching us on social media, if you can just hit that share button, tell folks why it will be fun for them to join along. Because guys, we need lots of participants on this episode because the big this week is we are going to set the field for the Tournament of Sandwiches.
And we've talked about it. We have some loose parameters as I guess the selection committee. We're going to let the audience set the field.
Right.
So bring your sandwich ideas. And again, we're not talking about like, I like your mama, like
it can't be a specific sandwich from a specific place that no one fucking knows. We're talking about a general category of sandwich. Right.
My example was like my cardiologist needs a new car from the famous JB's Deli up in Andersonville on Clark. It's a legit sandwich and it will kill you, or at least try to. But yeah, no, we're looking for give us a Reuben, give us a Cuban, give us a BLT. That's what we're going for. We have ideas to set the field for anywhere between 8 to 16, depending on the suggestions. And we're here for the knockdown, drag them outs over sandwiches too, because what else is there left to argue about these days?
Right.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So with that in mind, we got to get one thing out of the way, and that's to wet our whistle, if you will.
Don't mind if I do. Well, hold on. I gotta get everything ready. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. It's the last week of October here. Before we turn the page on that, yikes. So the last Oktoberfest of the month belongs to Great Lakes Brewery. It is their Oktoberfest. It has a nice little delightful bottle. It's very colorful. It's got a very cheery, very non-Oktoberfest colors, but like, hey, it's a beer bottle. It's not supposed to tell you a story about the beer. Maybe it does, because I do like those beers that have zombies and like skulls and
unicorns and
ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, guilty.
So where does this one categorize? Because we've talked about there's lagers, there's an ale, there's always something that you're chasing after. There's always a different brew of this. What would this be?
This is a lager, but is a kind of like I call it Oktoberfest. So it's somewhere between this is going to be poor of me, and I'm sure the beer aficionados, the real ones out there, are going to yell at me for this, but it's somewhere between like a Blue Moon and a Budweiser. Okay. And I don't mean you pour like no, but
that's a way for people to generalize that aren't maybe beer aficionados to get an idea of what you're talking about. Because for me, who's not a big beer guy, I've had Blue Moon, I've had Budweiser, so I can gauge what you're talking about now.
it's somewhere, it sits somewhere in there that there's a wheat component to it that doesn't necessarily, like, you don't find in like the IPAs that I like. So it's a little bit more of the Blue Moony, but it's not so citrusy and fruity, because it definitely is a heavier beer.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking like a stout where you're like, it's a beer for a meal kind of deal. So
Gotcha.
cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. So let's see it. I'm going to drink my black cherry flavored sparkling water that has allowed me to stop drinking soda for the most part.
Yeah, you know what? Again, if you like a nice Oktoberfest, this kind of hits everything you're looking for. It wouldn't. I'm not saying it's the greatest. I think we did the Three Floyds a couple weeks back. Their Oktoberfest, mwah, chef's kiss. But hey, if you sat me down and poured me this, I wouldn't say no.
There you go.
But hey, wait, back to the sparkling water thing. I think you just hit on something there. Where did you get that from?
This is from the local grocery store, United Supermarkets.
Okay, so I have probably 6 sodas a year,
Uh-huh.
right? And for the large part, I've just drank a lot of water. But this reinvention of the sparkling water thing, where it's not like,
It's
the
not. Here's the thing: it's got to be the sweetened kind. The unsweetened kind just tastes like Adrian describes them perfectly. They taste like burps, like that. You know, what I'm talking about that carbonated water that has like really it has the flavor, but there's no sweetness to it. That shit's garbage. You can't drink that. This is the sweetened version, but it's got 0 calories, 0 sugar. Obviously uses the artificial bullshit, but it replaces there you go. She's watching
staticky fruit burps.
Exactly. And if we had a show name, that would definitely be the show name.
It's a metal band too, by the way.
Yeah, Liquid Death is a great sparkling water. But yes, sparkling waters have allowed me to I still have a soda every now and then. In fact, I had one today because Coca-Cola has a cherry vanilla out right now that is very good. Yeah. So, but I replace them for the most part with different flavors, and they've got tons of really awesome flavored waters at all. Like United, HEB, even Walmart has their own that they're all good.
So just for the Topic Thunder aficionados on right now, we actually did Liquid Death, I believe, on the show.
We did
that because that can's badass, and you can get it still, or you can get it bubbly, and it's good stuff. I mean, for canned water, for $2 for a 16-ounce can of water, it's pretty good. But where do you sit with like LaCroix?
Oh, you see, that's what I'm talking about. That
you don't like that.
I'm not a fan. That tastes like staticky fruit burps. Yes.
All right, because the lady and I, the lovely Gigi, we're fans, and yeah, like it's an
acquired taste. It's just not for me.
I'll be honest. It's helped me stop just wanting to have a beer because I get that carbonation out of the way, and that's like I guess that's my hey folks, that's my kick.
Yeah.
I love that carbonation thing. It doesn't necessarily the medium doesn't matter,
right?
A beer pop or just like 0 calorie, like it tastes like something. Here's a trick with that. If you like lime or you like lemon, grab yourself like just some lime juice or some lemon juice. Just give it a couple of squirts in there, and because we're buying this stuff at like 3 cents a can, right? You're going to Costco and you load it up on this shit, like wow.
Right. Because nobody wants those kind. And you can get those for pennies because no one wants that kind of
good stuff. And just to add your own flavor. I'm just saying. But that concludes the sparkling waters episode of Topic, or at least segment, because we got some news to talk about, folks. And holy smokes, missing one day changed everything on the show. Hang on to your butts, ladies and gentlemen, because let's take you to the Sudan. Overnight, the military takes power in a coup and arrests the prime minister. We're gonna go to the AP story from 31 minutes ago, Cairo. Sudan's military seized power Monday, dissolving the transitional government hours after troops arrested the prime minister, and thousands flooded the streets to protest the coup that threatened the country's shaky progress towards democracy. Security forces have opened fire on some of them, and three protesters were killed, according to Sudan's doctorates committee, which also said 80 people were wounded. The takeover, which drew condemnation from the United Nations, the United States, and the European Union, comes more than 2 years after protesters forced the ouster of longtime autocrat Omar al-Bashir, and just weeks before the military was supposed to hand the leadership of the council that runs the country over to the civilians.
I'm sure that was not a coincidence, the timing.
And it wasn't. Oh man, was it the Dominican? Oh, forgive me. When was it that the military or commandos just like bum rush the presidential palace? Oh, just months ago, like this.
Yeah, it happens so often now that it's hard to keep track of them all.
I used to be able to.
Yeah, there's there's always a Middle Eastern country or a South American country. Bolivia. Was it Bolivia? Haiti.
Haiti. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Which is why everyone from that country is fleeing to the southern border and trying to get into our country to escape the madness that has been going on in Haiti. Because not only did they have an earthquake that destroyed like half the continent or half the country, they then also had a very corrupt leader that got ousted, very militarily, I believe, as well.
It sounds weird, right? Because that never happens in other countries. We're gonna later on, and this is what they call a tease in the business. We're going to talk about how close we were to something very similar possibly happening here, and the real possibility of it happening again in the not too far off future.
Yep.
But let's move on after that tease. I want to kind of rub your belly a little bit here and maybe get a little dander going.
Oh, you know how to rile me up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is from our good friends at CNBC. The wealthiest 10% of all Americans own a record 89% of United States stocks.
That's big deal.
10% own, let's just make it easy, 90% of the stock market.
So when you hear the pushback from people that are like, "Oh, taxes on Wall Street, that you're only hurting the people's 401ks and the middle class people that have their money in the stock market for retirement." No, because as you see, it's most of the stock market is owned by a very few people. People like us that are buying stocks on Robinhood are a very small percentage of the people that of the amount of shares that are available. We own a very, very small percentage. And Hayden makes a great point here. Stocks are for boomers anyway. Crypto all the way. And crypto is kind of what the stock market used to be. And it was you put something in because you believe in that thing, and you just let it go up the way it increases, the way it naturally does. In the stock market, man, if you spend 2 seconds trying to follow the stock market, you can see that there are people that are manipulating it on a daily basis. Why? Because 10% of Americans own 89% of it. So when you own the overwhelming majority of the stock market, well, guess what? You can manipulate things just by buying and selling a stock, or in a large chunk. You can manipulate. You could set up stop losses that will put up basically walls that will keep a stock price from going over a certain stock price for that day, because you have a bet that it's not going to go over that amount in that day. And a bet, I say a bet, but there's
that's what it is. Let's get out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. The stock market, you are gambling. Like
100%.
on our level. We're not talking about this 10%. On our level, it's bellying it up to the table and gambling like with the odds for the most part in your favor. But you got to watch out for those like intergenerational crashes, right? And, well, here's the other thing about that too. And baby, lock the deadbolt before I say this, okay? Just make sure everything's locked up, okay? Because I don't know what's going to happen after I say this. That 10%, ladies and gentlemen, they intentionally crashed the stock market and then buy all those stocks back dirt cheap and don't give a fuck that you lost your retirement. I've seen it 3 times I'm a level 45 human being right now. And I've seen this happen, this game 3 times, where we've seen this horrible stock market crash. And then if you pay attention later on, you start finding out who was buying back all those stocks and who did what to crash those stocks.
Yep. So, because you're exactly right, Brooks. And it goes back to the story, and I want to bring it back up on the screen. Right here in the middle, the top 1% gained over $6.5 trillion in corporate equity and mutual fund wealth during the pandemic.
That's only been what, 2
That's
centuries?
Not even
2 years.
A year and a half. Not even a full 2 years.
What?
And they've gained only $6.5 trillion, and it's only the top 1%. Guys, the game. If you don't see how this has to be reformed in a major way, and don't buy into the scare tactic bullshit of this is going to hurt your 401k, because that's not the type of taxes that they're talking about levying. People like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, when they propose taxes on Wall Street, they're taxing on transactions. So why? Because these major corporate hedge funds and these major mutual funds are trading so often that your 401k isn't being traded that much in a sense of how much manipulation is going on, behind the scenes.
Well, let's understand that your part of your mutual fund, of your conservatively, let's just say 12,000 person company, is just so you just have a fraction of that larger pool of the company you belong to's fraction of that mutual fund that Baker's dozen other companies bought into from Morgan Stanley to their mutual fund for that, because it's tailored to mid-sized businesses. They don't care about that, your transaction.
Correct. That's not the transaction we're talking about.
You're being taxed on that. You're being taxed. You go on to whatever trade venue you want to go on, and they're happy to levy that tax on those 100 to 1,000 stocks you move in a year, right? We're talking about macro transactions done not by individual human beings, but by algorithms, by bots, by massive programs backed by supercomputers. And if you don't think I'm telling the truth or I'm being futuristic or paranoid, look it up. These companies invested millions of dollars in Cray and IBM supercomputers, the ones with the space age cooling, like there's gas, the white cooling everything off.
They just taught computers to read charts, and when a chart does a certain thing, it triggers a certain action, there really is a very little like human thought into a lot of these trades that are made throughout the day. You'll see if you follow the stock market for any amount of time, you'll see that 9 a.m. Central Time, almost every day, like clockwork, at like 8:50 to 9 a.m., all of a sudden you'll see all the stocks dip at once. Everything across the board dips. That's the algorithms. That's the computer saying, okay, it's time, because the market's only been open for a half an hour. So it gets that initial boost. They get all their profits off of that when it opens up higher, and then they sell it all off at 9 a.m. It happens every day.
And Hayden has a point, because there are no more COVID obviously changed so much, but like there aren't traders on the floor anymore, because that job has been replaced by computers, because obviously you wanted the person that was the loudest, the sharpest, and spoke the fastest, because the ending of my favorite Christmas movie, Trading Places.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, you get a glimpse of what the trading pits were like. And holy shit, like, yeah, people had heart attacks and died in the middle of a trading session and were just stomped over and trampled over. And then once the pits cleared out, once they maybe removed some of the spensed and busted tickets, like oh God, Sam's dead. Shit. Nobody told it. No, you didn't see Sam. I didn't see Sam.
I wonder why his trades weren't getting put in.
That's what replaced these sellers, because it was speed. And now we're talking global too. It's not just the New York Stock Exchange or the S&P. It's the Nikkei and whatever Russia calls their style, and whatever, all these competing markets now. But for what? For the 10%? I don't know if crypto's there. I don't know if crypto's a thing. I don't think money is the thing. Call me crazy. It's an outdated and archaic concept for money. We have enough everywhere to make everything everywhere.
And don't be fooled. It's not advancing innovation, right? It wouldn't stop innovation. If we stopped the stock market completely, we just said, all right, this whole thing is a gamble. It's basically a legal casino. We're shutting it all down. It wouldn't stop innovation. Because keep in mind, most corporate decisions on that level, if you're trading on the stock market, the corporate decisions are being made not what's in the best interest of the company, not what's in the best interest of the workers. Be sure they're making decisions on what is your stock price, what is this going to do to the stock price, because my bonus and most of my pay is tied to the stock price. Most of my wealth, if I'm Elon Musk, is tied to the stock price of my company. If it's no longer traded, it's no longer worth that, right? Elon Musk has a lot less wealth because he's not liquid as wealthy as on paper he is.
Just look at any business, right? What would you do if you had a business? Would you cater to the person that owned 89% of what you were buying or what you were producing? Or would you cater to that 11% that was buying something from you or you were producing something for?
Right. It's a no-brainer.
That's just the simple logic behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the silent, almost innocent evil of the hunt for profit, is that it gets into these very black and white situations. Well, we just go where the money is. Our job is to make money, so we just go where the money is, and our money tells us that 89% owns it. We make all the decisions for you. We decide that wars and poverty and supply chain issues based on your needs, because that's your 89% of our everything.
Right.
You can't argue that point.
You can't. It needs a major overhaul, but to be honest with you, I agree with you. It needs to just be done away with. There's a better way. There's got to be a better way than this system that keeps fucking crashing.
It's not just like now. It's not in our lifetime that we've had crashes, right? There's the 20s. There's economic depression throughout the entire use of money, and maybe before the concept of money there was. But
keep in mind, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but before, I don't have any knowledge of what happened before the concept of money. All I know is my history with the concept of money. Kind of sucks. We could be doing so much more.
Right. And keep in mind, this economy that is based around this stock market, it crashed in the 1920s. What you talk about, it's crashed numerous times, but it also has been propped up by laws that have been written to protect it, and bailouts for companies that have failed on major levels. And of course, back in the 70s, they created credit cards because the system was failing, because people didn't have enough money to buy the goods that people had to sell because it was overpriced and people weren't getting paid enough. But in order to not have to pay people more, they convinced the banks, why don't you give out these credit cards to people and they'll borrow money from you at a high interest rate, and then you'll just collect the interest on those cards, and that will be a new avenue for the bank business. And the banks went, fuck yeah, let's fucking do that. And how many credit cards since the 1970s? Like, everybody has credit cards. The idea of a credit card is insane. Why should you ever buy something that you cannot afford?
At this point now,
I'm saying at the beginning.
Selfishly, now it's for the points. I'm gonna put the points on there because I've got the money. That's
right,
okay.
And to help your credit score, right?
Which if you want to buy too,
right? I mean, the whole thing was set up to prop up an economic system that was absolutely broken. And credit cards were a Band-Aid that got it from the 1970s basically to today. We're in the late stages of this whole experiment with the economy, this capitalist, stock market tied experiment. I really think so much pressure is being put on the system, and it's only going to get worse. The housing market is going to crash again sooner than later,
and probably worse than we've ever seen in our lives.
Right. And at the same time, we're about to evict millions of people and basically ruin their credit and their renting or home buying ability. There's a lot of things being stacked on top of each other at this point, where the economy, this economy as we know it, it cannot survive. Our children will not. It will have to change in my son's lifetime, I believe.
Let's hope so. But it of course, change is painful. And I guess to kind of wrap this up, and we'll cleanse our palate in just a second here. I guess, like, we've tried it like this for so long.
Right.
And where's it gotten us all? Is anything appreciably better than it was 100 years ago?
Definitely.
Probably not. No. Do we have cooler, fancier things? Yes. Fine. Cool.
Sure.
But that's from going from the horse-drawn carriage to the train, to like the individual horse to the car. That's inevitable. But as far as like how we manage our society and manage the inventory of our people, making sure everybody has everything they need as far as the basic needs of a society, that should be our next step. But I guess that I'm just a dreamer. Make sure you lock the doors, baby. So I promised a palate cleanser. Boy, have I got one for you. Let's, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk hot dog etiquette.
Okay.
There are, if you're not from the Chicagoland area, and if you're not, come on down and stop on by. It's a cool city. We take our hot dogs very seriously here.
More seriously than we should, yes.
Oh yeah, for a tubular meat that's not really made of what you think it is. Yes, we take it way too seriously. But what as it is
and what isn't allowed to be on one. Oh, I hate this conversation. You're riling me up now.
I guess that we could have. I don't know if this article goes into whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not.
It's an argument. I thought that was kismet. I thought you did that on purpose, that you had this story.
No. This was going to happen regardless of what we were doing for the big. Before this was already saved in the appropriate file folder.
We will get into it. That is going to be like topic 1 or 2 that we need to clear up before when we're setting the ground rules for this thing. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a gyro a sandwich? Is a taco a sandwich?
All right, let's drag that. Another tease. Hang out because that tournament of sandwiches is real and it's happening. But I found hot-dog.org. And that belongs to the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council. And they have a do's and don'ts regarding hot dog etiquette. And I thought we'd just go over the list and kind of throw them out and see what everybody says. So, in regards to your hot dog, do not put the hot dog toppings between the hot dog and the bun. Always dress the dog, not the bun. Condiment should be applied in the following order. Wet condiments, like mustard and chili, are applied first, followed by chunky condiments, like relish, onions, and sauerkraut, followed by shredded cheese, followed by spices like celery salt or pepper.
Okay, I don't disagree with any of that.
Do serve sesame seed, poppy seed, and plain buns with hot dogs. Sun-dried tomato buns or basil buns are considered Gucci with Franks.
I didn't even know tomato buns or basil buns even existed.
And I would just have naturally like, what?
Hayden, I hope you're saying that in a good way. Like this has turned into like, this is hilarious, right?
Don't use a cloth napkin to wipe your mouth when eating a hot dog. Paper is always preferable.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, don't tell me what to clean my fucking face with. Like that. What does that have to do with a hot dog?
I mean, I assume if you're eating a hot dog, you're not in a place that's actually serving cloth napkins. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not, right? If they're serving a hot dog, they don't have cloth napkins. You're right.
I'm just saying they probably got like any decent joint would, maybe just the spindle with the paper towels on the table. I don't know, because you're gonna have some wings, or you never know where the night's gonna go.
Sure. This next one's a no-brainer.
Do eat the hot dog on buns with your hands. Utensils should never touch a hot dog on a bun.
That's insane. Yes. I've never seen someone do that, and I don't know exactly how I would react if I saw someone do that. Like full hot dog on the bun, and then they knife and fork it. Like, so that's weird.
Now we're talking like that Seinfeld episode where George saw that he was working for the Yankees, and one of the other Yankees employees was eating a chocolate bar with a knife and a fork. And so obviously George started doing it, and everybody like that. Okay, that's all right. Here's an episode. Here's $18 million.
Right. But I'm with Hayden on this. If I saw someone using a fork and knife on a hot dog, I'd have to slap them. Like, what are you doing? You're ruining it for everybody. You know this is ruining it.
You kind of have to like lean in on them and be like, "Are you? Did you just come here? Somebody's played an awful trick on you. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that here.
Please stop doing that.
You're
gonna have to stop. You're making everyone uncomfortable. Please stop doing
everyone. Do use paper plates to serve hot dogs. Everyday dishes are acceptable. China is a no-no.
Of course. Come on.
All right. Don't take more than 5 bites to finish a hot dog. For a foot-long wiener, 7 bites are acceptable.
When I think about it now, if it's past 3, I think you're doing it wrong. If you need more than 3 bites to eat a hot dog, you're doing it wrong.
No, I can see 3 to 5 because the way I like it, like I say, I just tell whoever is making me this wonderful piece of heaven, I say drag it through the garden. So give me everything. I want all the peppers. I want the pickle. I want the tomatoes. I want all of it. Right. That takes some time. I could see 3 to 5 being an acceptable
okay. If
range.
It's a fully loaded hot dog, like a true Chicago style with all of it, it is pretty massive. So maybe I'll give you 4.
I'm just saying, like, is that do we count bites like oh god, like some of the bun came out and the pepper came out and there's I don't know, you get a nice sauerkraut thing going on and like you just I don't know. I have some leniency here, but I understand like if it's just a dude, you're at the ball game and it's just a dude walking around going hot dogs here, hot dog, like that hot dog. If you
Correct.
can't down that in 3 bites,
You're fucking doing it wrong. Sorry.
yeah, you're wrong.
You're right. I don't say you're wrong on a lot when it comes to food, but that you're wrong about.
Just saying. A foot long. Oh no. Jeez. Oh boy. Here she goes.
Yes.
There she is. Hello. Hi. How you doing? All right.
You were ranting while that was up on the screen.
Yeah, well, hi. A little after party. Oh, anyway. Also, I think we'll kind of breeze through all these because there's some stuff I want to talk about. Don't leave bites of your bun on the plate.
Oh, here's the one. This next one right here. Don't use ketchup on your hot dog after age of 18. I hate this argument.
What?
Ketchup tastes good on a hot dog. I don't give a shit if I'm 18, if I'm 40, if I'm 7, if I'm 800 years old. I want my hot dog one way with pickles and fucking mustard and ketchup. Don't fuck with me about this. I want ketchup on my fucking hot dog.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Topic Thunder. We had a good run. It's been nice. I don't want to sound like that kind of pretentious Chicago guy. Like, hey, you can't put that ketchup on a hot dog. What are you talking about there?
I hate that. Oh, I hate it so much.
But I don't like it. I personally don't like. I can really. I've had it.
That's one thing. If you don't like it, that's fine. But to tell other people they're not allowed by some fucking dumb rule that some hot dog stand in Chicago made up and it somehow spread all over Chicago, it makes no fucking sense.
Look, my friend. This is Chicago. This is the home of Abe Froman. He's the Sausage King. You can't go against what the Sausage King says. It's Chicago. It's the way. This is the way. It's the Chicago way.
Hey, I'm not like Biz. Biz says ketchup is good on everything. And I disagree with that. Like, if you put ketchup on eggs, I think we're going to have to fight.
Oh, see, now I would. Okay, so what kind of eggs? Because I'll
scrambled eggs. Any kind of eggs, really.
No, because sometimes on depending on what kind of like omelet you get a little ketchup. Could go a long way there. But I'm also not a huge
salsa or a Tabasco or some sort of. If I'm going to do that on an omelet, I'm going to go with something spicier. Frankly,
show us spiraling out of control.
We are on a food kick like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, we're all going to be fat by the end of this episode. Unlike the folks that are probably going to be serving a lot of time in jail soon. And folks, that's what we call a transition after a palate cleanser. Late last night, as the eyelids were getting heavy and the options on television were getting dim, a news story broke from Rolling Stone, which you might say like, it's Rolling Stone. They've had Mick Jagger on their cover 36 times. You're probably right. However, they actually do a fair bit of really good journalism. And if Rolling Stone has got the goods to go to print, it's time to listen. And this is an exclusive. January 6th protest organizers say, I don't know why I said that like a Canadian person. Organizers. I should say the whole article now like that, but it would take away from the seriousness of this because this is actually serious. January 6th protest organizers say they participated in dozens of planning meetings with members of Congress and White House staff.
That is the smoking gun, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to tie a couple things together here, but first let's continue with this story. 2 sources are communicating with House investigators and detailed a stunning series of allegations to Rolling Stone, including a promise of a blanket pardon from the Oval Office. I suggest everybody, this is a very long form article. We're going to kind of bounce around from it a little bit and take bits and parts and kind of move into a different direction after we kind of cover some very important parts here. I suggest everybody read it, because if January 6th scared you, January 5th ought to terrify you. Because here we go. January 6th just didn't happen instantaneously. And apparently the feds have got the receipts. What the Rolling Stone article goes on to explain is that there are two individuals that were, I think, ones they describe as a rally organizer. Yes, here's the line itself. Quote, "For the sake of clarity, we will refer to one of the sources as a rally organizer and the other as a planner." So there are two sources involved in the rally of January 6th, right? They have gone on to name names of people and staff of sitting Congress people that they work with.
And the amazing part is it is every name, almost every name you're thinking of right now. If you haven't read the story and you don't know which Congress people were involved in this, when we start reading the names, you're gonna go, okay, now it's starting to make sense. You'll see some very interesting names among the names here in a second.
So, friends of the show, at one time, presidential chief of staff, the chief of staff to POTUS, Mark Meadows, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, we know her from something. What was it? Oh, yeah, being batshit crazy.
Paul Gosar. If we're not, a lot of attention gets thrown towards Kirsten Sienna, right? For being that crazy person from Arizona, and she does she scores well in that regard, right? If you don't know who Paul Gosar is, Republican of Arizona, just based on two of them alone, you'd be like, yeah, they don't need two senators. They should lose one.
This guy looks like he planned the insurrection.
Or, yeah, well, we're going to get back to him in a second, too, because the story details what he decided to do. And nobody's really sure if he was acting on his own or under, let's just say, presidential guidance. So, representative from Alaska, no, that's Alabama. Sorry. Mo Brooks, no relation. Just for the record, the last time I said no relation in terms to a last name on this show became the Lost Show. Which, yeah. Do you remember when we had the very first guest, which was the very last guest?
Yes. Oops. You skipped over one. Hilarious.
Oh no, for a very good reason. We're gonna circle back to that one. Again, friend of the show and internet superhero Madison Cawthorn.
Yes.
Representative.
Also serial rapist, but whatever.
Oh yeah. You know, the list goes on, and we don't have time. We have other stuff to get to on this show besides this rap sheet. Representative Annie Biggs from Arizona. Representative Louis Gohmert from Texas.
I think it's Gomer, actually.
Gomer? Is it Gomer? I want to say Gohmert, but Gomer. It sounds better, actually. Gomer.
He's from Texas, so it's not Gomer. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Gomer. Hey, they call me Gomer.
I really think that this quote here, and I don't know if you're going to say it, but this quote, we would talk to Boebert's team, Cawthorn's team, Gosar's team, like back to back to back to back, says the organizer.
Yeah, and the name he just mentioned, one Lauren Boebert, Republican out of Colorado, the one that was hired directly from a talent agency, which we showed you earlier in a previous episode.
Also, the illegitimate daughter of one half of the Midnight Express, Stan Lane.
And whose husband has been charged and accused of showing his genitals to underage girls.
Yes. She didn't. She never graduated high school either.
She got her. Yeah, okay, so I don't get into that kind of thing, right? Like, okay, fine,
Whatever.
all
You
right.
maybe had a good idea, a good reason for it. Still, but still,
I would, if you wanted to dig into something like that,
she
I would
got
say
her GED literally before she ran for office.
I believe 6 weeks. So if you want to look at the timeline, I'll argue like, wow, like why all of a sudden I'll argue that point, as opposed to like she finally got it. I
tapped on
was
the shoulder at one of those fucking actor meetings. She went in and they were like, oh, you know what? Tap tap tap. Can you come over here and talk to us, Miss Bobert?
I would just point out who paid her back taxes that she owed in the restaurant that she started. That's what I would point you to in that regard if you're going to question her character and stuff like that.
But
But
back on topic.
back
Brooks.
back to
This
topic.
is a major bombshell. If they're naming names, right? They are naming names of sitting government officials that were involved in the planning of this. Now, they are going, I promise you, what they will all say is, we were involved in the planning of this gathering. But what we had no idea, and we certainly didn't tell anybody to storm the Capitol on that day. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get, yes, we helped organize this rally because we believe that the election was stolen, and yes, but they're going to distance themselves from the actual insurrection itself. They're going to say, well, we of course weren't encouraging that, but I feel like between all these communications, they slipped up. There's recorded conversations. There's evidence to suggest, I surely believe that if this story is leaking like this, surely there's enough evidence that they think that they really have these representatives, these Congress people by the balls. And they're going to put the pressure. I think this is a concerted effort by the FBI and authorities to put this story out there, to put public pressure on these Congress people to have to answer to it.
So let's dive back into some of the quotes from the story, right? So this is a quote from the organizer. Again, there's two sources now that are testifying. And actually, these sources have said that they're willing to testify publicly, which, if you haven't paid attention to the temperature in the country right now, kind of puts you in a little bit of physical danger. This is a quote from the organizer. Our impression it was a done deal, that he'd spoken to the president about it in the Oval in a meeting about pardons, and that our names came up. They were working on submitting the paperwork and getting the members of the House Freedom Caucus to sign as a show of support. The organizer claims the pair received several assurances about a blanket pardon from Paul Gosar. Now, this is a quote from Paul Gosar, according to the organizer. I was just going over the list of pardons, and we just wanted to tell you guys how much we appreciate all the hard work you've been doing. I want to stop the show. I want to stop right there. And I want to pull back, and I want to peel back another layer of this. Like, all right, so now we're dealing with several layers of a con here, right? And if you pull back from it, we're dealing several layers of a pyramid scheme. Somebody's telling somebody to tell somebody else to tell somebody that there's a carrot if you do this, and then that person above them is going to get 2 carrots for that person getting a carrot doing their thing, and then that person above that other person is going to get 3 carrots for that person below them doing 2 carrot things, right? So here's allegedly the POTUS saying we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to organize, we need to march, right? So here's a funnel, there's a mouthpiece to several now members of sitting in Congress. Enter one Ali Alexander. If you don't know who that guy is, he's been mentioned on the show before. He's a bad, bad dude. This man is an agent provocateur on the highest level, has been pushing all manner of misinformation and disinformation across several different swaths of our country. And apparently the gripe and the reason these two sources flipped It was because Ali and a very militant edge of this protest entered in and silently became a part of it under the cover of all these other permits and all these other events that were going on. Another event was added that really pissed off uh, these people who thought they were trying to legitimately just do like a protest Trump won, blah blah blah. These were the people that were, I'm going to say it, were duped into attempting a peaceful protest. They were duped because they needed to be the cover for a more violent form.
I see what you're saying now. They needed real event organizers to really rally lots of people that maybe weren't in on the plan to be there as the cover. And then all of a sudden we're all just an amalgamous group of like-minded people with Trump stuff, wearing Trump hats and carrying signs and wearing Carhartt jackets and fucking army fatigues and all kinds of shit. We're just blending right in. I see what you're saying. Like there was some real, like, it wasn't all nefarious. Like every person that attended those rallies was not in on the scheme. There was a lot of people that were there that were sold this lie purposefully so that they would be so angry that they would call in sick or take a vacation day from their jobs to go to Washington, D.C. and protest the results of an election. It's an amazing plot. It is an amazing plot that he told us the plot before it even happened, and we still all fell for it.
This is a quote from the organizer. Democrats used tactics to disrupt their political opposition in ways that frankly were completely unacceptable. Hold on. Hear this out. The reason I'm talking to the committee and the reason it's so important, despite Republicans refusing to participate, this commission's all we've got as far as being able to uncover the truth about what happened at the Capitol that day. It's clear that a lot of bad actors set out to cause chaos. They made us all look like shit. The breaking point for me was when Trump starts talking about walking to the Capitol. The organizer says, I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. The planner says, I do feel abandoned by Trump. I actually feel pretty pissed off about it, and I'm pissed at him. The organizer offers an even more succinct assessment when they asked what they would say to Trump. What the fuck? The organizer said. It goes on to detail another person that we'll get to in just a second. But folks, I mentioned this particular article months and months and months ago, and I gave a caveat that I'm not entirely sure of this person's sources. As part of that Rolling Stone investigation, and also a report and an article done by the Washington Post, one Seth Abramson, who's written 3 books on the totality of the corruption behind the Trump, Russia, oligarch, mafia, and big business campaign against American democracy, was basically proven right. I'm going to read you this article again, just go over some of the highlights of this. And this is again dated February 6th. Seth Abramson on his Substack, which is, I guess, only one of 3 people who's ever reached 10,000 subscriptions on Substack. Just saying. Confirmed meeting. Some background. I apologize. January 6th, all of this terrible stuff happens as we watch it happen on the capital of this nation, right? January 5th, there was a literal war room convened. And we're going to go over some of the names again in this war room, right? Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Michael Flynn, Peter Navarro, Corey Lewandowski, David Bossie. He's the 2016 Trump deputy campaign manager. Adam Piper, executive director, Republican Attorney General Association. Tommy Tuberville, United States Senator. Charles H. Webster, Republican gubernatorial candidate from Nebraska. Rudy Giuliani, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Mike Lindell, Daniel Beck, an unnamed U.S. Senator, another unnamed U.S. Senator, Phil Waldron, Doyle Beck, and some names you might know, Sidney Powell, an unnamed son of Jair Bolsonaro, who's the president of Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
Ali Alexander, Alex Jones, Steve Bannon. All got together on the night before this terrible, terrible thing happened, which now we have proof that there was some sort of a coup within a coup, I guess you could say. That there were people out there organizing under the belief that they weren't going to move from their one spot and their platform. They're just going to shout their nonsense out into the wind and let them vent and kind of go home. But another group swooped in and did some pretty nefarious things. And that's when you started dealing with the Oath Keepers and the 1AP. If you don't know who the 1AP is the First Amendment Praetorian. It's another militia style organization and basically filled with ex-cops and ex-military. You start dealing with the 3 percenters. You start dealing with the Boogaloo Boys. And those are the people that are marching up the steps of the Capitol with arms on shoulders, walking in clear formation in matching gear, and that were quite literally out to murder Mike Pence, Nancy Pelosi, and any other basic Democrat they could get their hands on.
Right.
That's not a joke. That's not hyperbole. There were people there to murder other people. Why do you bring zip ties into a building?
Right. There was a noose that was brought because they were going to kidnap and hang Mike Pence on the steps of the Capitol for treason. And that was going to allow Donald Trump to somehow stay president and overturn the election results. It is an amazing thing that they did. And these sources again are saying that they were part of organizing the rally itself. The good you say good meaning, relative term within this group. They weren't there to charge the Capitol, right? They weren't there to cause violence. They were just there to express their support for this idea that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. And it was hijacked. But we still don't know out of Boebert, all of them, Marjorie Taylor Greene, were any of them, who were the unnamed senators in that group, right? And were these Congress people that were contacted by these rally organizers, were they involved in that part, in the really dark aspect of it? So it'd be interesting to find out as we go along. And there's more to this, where this is just the one layer of the onion, so to speak.
So let me just leave you with this before we move on. And I've got another palate cleanser before we chomp down on some sandwiches. Let's circle back to Miss Lauren Boebert. On that day, January 6th, 2021, at 1:18 p.m., Lauren Boebert tweets, I'm looking at her Twitter right now, quote, "The speaker has been removed from the chambers," end quote. Why would a sitting congresswoman in the middle of a violent insurrection and invasion of the House of Congress tweet anything about anything besides help? let alone that the
Giving people a
Speaker
heads
of
up.
the House
You know,
is
Nancy
on the
Pelosi,
move.
which this is, again, if you don't know, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. And these crazy, the craziest of the crazies, they hate Nancy Pelosi. So you're tweeting out that as a message, as a heads up. Certainly that's how that reads.
She's on the move, right? It's like saying, Proud Boys, stand down.
Mhm.
It's a signal. And if you don't have the eyes or the ears to hear it, then it's innocuous to you.
Right.
It's a very
Stand down and stay ready. Wasn't that the quote?
stand down and stand by. Stand by, stand down, stand by is what it
Right.
was. That's code, folks. And if
Yeah.
you don't know the code, it just whatever. I don't know what that means, so I don't pay. Exactly. You don't know what that means.
Exactly. That's why they do it. Yes.
There's some really bad people that do. So I just wanted to point that out about our good friend Lauren Boebert and how she's probably just committed a felony on that day.
I hope
tweeting.
so, man. I hope she goes to prison forever.
So we're kind of running up against it. We need to get to the sandwiches and the lightning round.
We got really deep in some early conversations that have really cut into the headlines today. Sorry, folks.
It really did, but I wanted to show you my Dick and Sonia.
I'm sorry. What now?
I wanted to show you a Dick and Sonia.
I feel like you are insulting me, but maybe not.
Nope.
What is this?
This is pure education.
Okay.
I've sent you a link
Uh-huh.
for the oldest living fossil. It's called a Dickinsonia.
What the fuck?
That is the fossil of an animal that lived 558 million years ago. And its name is a Dickinsonia.
That is. I feel like they named it that because it had a funny name, right?
So let it never be said that I never showed you my Dickinsonia.
Fair enough. All right. So, without further ado, the main event, which you all came here for, not the lightning round tonight, because the main event of tonight is we are setting the field for the tournament of sandwiches right here. We're going to set it up. We're going to set the terms. We're going to also gotta have the March Madness music.
It's
All
just
right,
the tournament music.
it's our tournament music. Yes. Okay. So there's a few questions that we have to get out of the way first, and we have a fairly full house in the comment section, so we're going to need everybody to help us and make their vote. So the first question that we have to put up for vote is a hot dog a sandwich? Can a hot dog, which we just talked about earlier, all the do's and don'ts of hot dogs, ketchup or not, should a hot dog be included in the tournament of sandwiches? Joe says no. That's our first vote. No on the hot dog. I'm going to vote yes. I think a hot dog is a sandwich. No. Wow. No.
I'm on board with it. It is a sandwich.
No.
Okay.
Like, we are on the minority here in a big way.
Holy shit. So wait, I have to keep track of this.
This is a landslide.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ryan Hansen is going with yes.
And that's my point. Thank you, Ryan.
My mother-in-law is going with no.
I have myself, Ben, Adrian, and Ryan. It's 6-4 right now. And I'm gonna try to sway some of the people and exactly what Ryan said. If a sub sandwich and
I would think it's got to be in the tournament, frankly. If we don't have sub sandwiches in the tournament, it's not a real tournament at this point.
It's not. And that goes with hoagies and grinders too. Like that sort of
yes.
Yeah, it's the same type of bread, right? It's the same open face now. Okay, taco. We're talking
We're
about
getting
hot
into that.
dogs.
Courtney, don't get ahead of us. We're getting
That's
into
the
that.
second. That's the second pre thing we're doing here. We're gonna deal with the tacos later.
I guess we can kind of lump them all in. Taco, Euro, and hot dog. Those are the outliers. And should we include them? It looks like hot dog, definitely no. If anybody else, I think a Euro is a sandwich as well. Yeah. But there's the meat has to be flat.
God
Aunt
damn it.
Chris says.
God damn it. What constitutes a sandwich? Now we're getting existential here. Like,
Right?
what
Meat
makes a
between bread.
sandwich?
Ryan Hansen makes it very clear cut. Meat between bread is a sandwich. I think I tend to agree with that.
But then like a gordita is a gordita like a sandwich, even though it's like it's I don't know, like
See, Euro is a yes. See, people that were voting no for a hot dog are voting yes for a Euro, and I
that
don't
makes
understand
no
the
sense.
basis. I don't understand the basis for
That
your
makes
vote
no sense.
like, I don't get it. So does the bread have to be separate? Because even in a Euro, it's in a inside of a pita.
Like, at least if I let the hot dog sit on its own, it's going to remain like semi-closed and at least enclosing most of the meat, which a sandwich is supposed to do, right? If you put a Euro down on a plate, it's just going to it's going to lay there like a lazy fuck. Like, is that a sandwich? Does the meat have to be enclosed by the bread?
Yes, and here's the thing that's coming up often in the comment section now: the meat having to be flat, so you can't have tubular meat. So sausages and bratwursts and those types of things, those wouldn't be. If the meat is tubular, it cannot be a sandwich. And that is an interesting take on that.
That is, and now okay,
Is a torta a sandwich, right? Because it's ground beef or it's yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
it's definitely a sandwich.
If you ever needed to know why government doesn't work, we just did it. Social experiment. Like, we can't figure this out. Like, how can we solve a budget?
If you call it a sandwich, then it's a sandwich. Aunt Chris says. If you call it something else, then it's not a sandwich.
You know,
that's a very simple way of putting it too.
The most Chicago thing ever. Like, if you call it a sandwich, it's a sandwich. Okay.
Hayden says if the assembly instructions are different from a standard sandwich, it's not a sandwich. It's interesting.
So as the voting stands, I believe
hot dogs and tubular meat is going to be banned.
Joe's in on the 2 separate pieces of bread. Okay, so that's a thing, right? I guess that's a thing. But so then that sub sandwich.
Sub sandwich doesn't qualify then, right?
Right, that Italian sandwich. That.
Man, this is deep, guys. But we got to figure this out.
The tubular meat thing like makes sense, right? That conveniently eliminates at least the argument for everything but a Euro.
Correct, because you still have the shaved meat. It's inside that. A torta, yes, because even though the meat is either ground meat or chopped up pork or something, it's still a flat sandwich. Is it on the Subway menu? There you go. If it's not on the Subway menu, it's not a sandwich.
But I can't go into a Subway and ask for a Reuben.
Okay, Ryan brings up another one. Chicago folks, what about a beef and Italian sausage combo? Is an Italian beef by the 2 pieces of bread rule? An Italian beef is not a sandwich. And can we even have this tournament if an Italian beef is not one of the competitors?
Let me tell you something, my friend. As I live and breathe here in the city of Chicago, the city of big shoulders, the second city. Let me tell you what. The combination of Italian beef and Italian sausage is not a sandwich. It has transcended all forms of food, and it's just been known as a combo. That's all it is. It's achieved a level of transcendence. It's off the table.
Man, that is disappointing because an Italian beef.
No, it's everything.
Know how it couldn't be in the tournament. It would win the tournament.
I'm just trying to. I don't know about win the tournament. Come on. Honestly, if I was like a betting man, I think like grilled cheese or something. It's gonna like just something like something some off one off. Like you can't argue against a grilled cheese. So when a grilled cheese goes up against like say a Reuben or like a pastrami on rye or something like that. It's gonna be like, yeah, most people are like, just stick to grilled cheese. I'm not gonna, I don't know.
Fuck. All right. So, all right.
We're in
Hot
a
dog is
weird
out.
spot right now. We're in a weird
Tubular
spot
meat. All right. So I think we're making it official. The hot dog is out. Which, if the hot dog is out, that means all tubular meat has to be out of the competition. A bratwurst, a sausage, those are out. We have to just say those are not going to be included in the tournament. A sandwich has to include flat bread or some sort of flat bread kind of thing with our flat meat, I should say. Excuse me.
Flat meat and 2 pieces of bread, right?
2 separate pieces of bread, which then also takes the sub sandwich and anything like that out of this competition. It has to be a sandwich, which I think helps us narrow this down a little bit. It's a different discussion.
This is a terrible discussion because now I'm hungry.
Right.
But it is one thing to say, like you do have like a two pieces of bread together as opposed to a sub. But like, man, like ruling out a sub sandwich and that the sub bread, that loaf, an Italian loaf, whatever it is, that it takes a lot off the table too.
It really does. It takes a number of things off the table. Sub bread can be separated, Joe says, which is interesting. Maybe that's its own category. Maybe we allow sub sandwiches to be in its own,
like,
be its thing, and everything in a sub style bun will be included in that.
So we have the flatbread conference versus the Italian bread conference.
Well, now, okay, here we have another. It's not about the bread; it's about the flat meat that makes the sandwich. So you can put flat meat inside of a sub roll, and it's still, that would make it a sandwich. So is it about the meat or the bread or the both?
I mean, you can make any sandwich out of any bread, right?
Okay, let's put it up for a vote to the crowd right now. What is most important? Meat, bread, or both? Give us
not both. No both. Meat or bread.
Meat or bread is the okay. It's got to okay. Meat or bread has to be your choice. What is most important when it comes to a sandwich?
We've now, this is how government works. We've now gone to committee, and now we're trying to figure out a sub vote before we make our final vote about what's a fucking sandwich. Right. Again, this is how government works, folks.
All right, Angela is voting for meat. Joe is voting for bread.
Yeah, she is.
My mother-in-law is voting for flat meat. Just tubular meat needs to be out now. Yes.
Tubular meats are out. Meats are out.
That's another 2 meats votes.
Oh, now you go with Sloppy Joe. Son of a bitch, Ryan.
God damn it. You did.
God damn it.
Flat meat.
Out of nowhere,
takes
the
out
Sloppy Joe cold cocks you. It's a sucker punch.
God damn it.
All right, no. We're going with like, okay, think deli sandwich. All right, we'll narrow it. We'll narrow it down. Okay, because you people can't handle democracy in its truest form. We're gonna narrow it down for you. So we're gonna give you 2 candidates. No. It's a deli sandwich, okay? A deli sandwich. Like, don't think Sloppy Joe. Don't think hot dog. Think like typical deli sandwich or something.
Burger is a sandwich.
Burger is a sandwich.
A Sloppy Joe is not.
Think what you could, like a lunch meat sandwich you can make on your, put stuff in your fridge. See, we fucked up. This should be the whole show.
It really would have been. We could have easily filled the whole show with this.
We're already at 8:19, and we haven't even decided. We've decided, dick.
Yeah, we haven't even decided. We've decided that hot dogs aren't going to be included, and I think we've decided that meat is the most important thing for the sandwich.
Nobody's mentioned a single sandwich yet.
Now we've got people that are arguing a burger is not a sandwich. We can't agree on anything. We can't agree that a burger is a sandwich.
See?
We cannot agree on anything.
This is why we need authoritarianism.
Wow. Okay, we got it. I think now with these new rules, 8 is the number.
8 is definitely the number.
8 is definitely the number. And so with that said,
All right.
peanut butter and jelly has to be on the list, right? Peanut butter and jelly, 100% has to be on the sandwich list. I think, and anyone can disagree with that in the comments, feel free to. I would think, and also a no-brainer is grilled cheese. I think another no-brainer. To me, a burger, but apparently that's not a unanimous thing here. I thought burger was going to surely be.
I'm definitely down with the BLT being on.
BLT
the list
is
for
going to get that. Okay, BLT.
I'm serious about that Reuben, by the way.
The
Like
club sandwich. The club sandwich.
Reuben. Reuben.
The Reuben turkey and Swiss. I'm trying to think here. Pastrami on rye.
Cuban for sure.
A Cuban, a club with Monte Cristo.
Ooh.
So I think we're just gonna kind of put all these in the pot here, and then we'll pick out of these.
We just want to say just a burger and just like make that the category and just the burger.
Burger has to be on there. I just don't know how we have this tournament without it.
Right.
Joe, we already did grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese is definitely on the list.
I think we've said sub sandwiches is going to get its own. I think one of the eight could certainly be a club.
Tuna melt.
I love a good tuna melt.
And
I love tuna fish sandwiches, but I'm weird.
We're just gonna put a sub sandwich.
We got another vote for a Reuben. I think a Reuben's a great sandwich to put on there. I think it has to make the cut.
It definitely has to. Oh
it's
golly,
unique.
Man, I'm just gonna say it because chicken salad is.
I don't know what a mozzarella is, but
that's another vote for chicken salad.
Vote for chicken salad. Now that's multiple people saying chicken salad.
Would it be acceptable? Oh no, because we have a tuna melt and a chicken salad. That's fair enough. Okay, so we're now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Courtney says the Elvis peanut butter. What is that? Peanut butter and banana, or is that peanut butter and pickles?
See, maybe too specific and too kind of unique.
Yeah, I think we need to stick with the more broader thing. So okay, I think we have enough to put together.
We have 11 actually.
Okay, so we need to pare those down to 8. Some more are pouring in.
Angela, don't give me that. The Super Bird.
It's too specific. That goes against the rules.
But you're
Ryan
right.
Hansen is really pushing for the lobster roll.
I've never had a lobster roll. Is that?
I have not either. It sounds delicious, but I've never had one.
I'm literally. I have to look this up because I don't.
Really, you've not even seen what a lobster roll looks like?
I don't get out. Lobster.
You mean it's too delicious? Fried egg and cheese.
Ooh,
that's
a pepper and egg sandwich, though. You might have to put like a. That's not a sandwich. Come on.
You're saying no on the lobster roll after.
I mean, that's like a sub sandwich, though. I don't know.
It is probably. It's like a seafood sub, probably.
Yeah. See, then we can. I know. I'm not trying to.
Its name has a roll in it. It says it's a roll. It's not a sandwich.
A hoagie.
That's the same thing as a sub sandwich. Which
are we throwing that on the sub?
It seems to be a resounding no on the lobster roll. Sorry, Ryan. I know you're really pushing for that. But.
You really are, and props too. And to be honest with you, I've never had one.
When you have some conviction, you stick by it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But all right, folks, we're running up against the clock. We got to pare this thing down because we got to start opening it up to the vote. And that will go on all week this week. You could send your votes where, Michael Brooks?
Shit. The email would be thetopicthunderpodcast@gmail.com. But
or hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah, you could slide into our DMs, folks. That's okay. We've got time.
We will announce this week. We will set up the committee, which involves Joe, who is following along. He is the committee chairman of all Topic Thunder tournaments. He is the commish. We will get together this week in our group chat that we have, our group text that we have, and we will set the seeds 1 through 8, and we'll announce those this week so that you can know exactly what the first round matchups will be and can vote.
We always need an excuse to play the best theme and entrance music to ever grace these airwaves. So we need Lockport Joe back on the air. And I'm always a fan of telling the East Coast to where to go. So.
All right. So we know this. We know peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese, burger, and
here, hold on. I'll go over the list. I've got 11 written down.
Okay.
either we're going to add one or we're going to take like 3 away to make it either 8. Or we have a concept, we have a template set up that we could do a tournament of 12, and there's 4 buys, and we'll figure
We
this
can
out.
certainly find one to add. There was enough
certainly
thrown out there. We could certainly.
So we have peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese, BLT, Reuben, Club, Cuban, Monte Cristo, burger, tuna melt, sub, and chicken salad. I'm sure we've probably missed some real heavy hitters here, but that's a list.
I'm just going back through here to just kind of make sure.
Let's see,
Turkey melt, fish sandwich, none of that really.
Maybe fish sandwich just for the
Shrimp. Oh, shrimp po' boys.
mm.
Is that a sandwich? Is a po' boy a sandwich? I think that's your 12th right there.
Po' boy.
So there we go. We have a 12 set. That means we need 4 top seeds to get a bye into the second round. And I think 3 top seeds are clear.
I think
right?
there's some very general. Yeah, I think we can make. I think.
And the 4th one probably. Okay, so we have peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese, hamburger, and probably the
sub
sandwich would be the top 4 seeds in the tournament.
Because everything gets a little like specific. Like you could say Cuban specific. It's not like saying I like this place is Cuban as opposed to that place is Cuban, but it's not as specific as saying burger or even like BLT, because there's all kinds of weird shit that can be in a BLT, or a grilled cheese with like 5 different cheeses and tomatoes and bacon. Like, is it still a grilled cheese? I don't know. All these questions and more will be asked and answered later on Topic Thunder. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we need to charge things up. Put a little oomph in the old show here. We're going to do that with the lightning round. Welcome to the Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen, where 3 headlines enter and 1 will be read. Those lightning bolts in the comments section. You know I love it. You know I take screen caps of it and I show my dad. Actually, that's a lie. But everything else I tell is the truth, including the 3 headlines, and we're not going to dilly-dally. You're going to vote on headline number 1. Hiker lost on mountain for 24 hours, ignored calls from rescuers because he didn't recognize the phone number.
that is so a 21st century problem or issue.
Man stole 20 bags of frozen shrimp from a Bucks Company grocery store.
Okay.
And headline number 3. Naked Pawtucket man fights off catalytic converter thief.
Okay, I think I know who I want to vote for, but let's hear it one more time just to be sure.
One more time, ladies and gentlemen, just so if you're not, if you're new to the show, thanks for joining. We hope you're joining us on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, all that fun stuff. Topic Thunder Podcast on Instagram. The lightning round is your chance to vote on the story that we cover here, and it is the crowd pleaser, the main event. Headline number 1. Hiker lost on mountain for 24 hours, ignored calls from rescuers because he didn't recognize the phone number.
So good.
And headline number 2, the Lower Southampton Township Police Department hopes to catch a thief with a crustacean fascination as this person stole 20 bags of frozen shrimp. And headline number 3, a naked Pawtucket man fights off a catalytic converter thief.
It has to be number 3. Angela is going with the naked mechanic. Hayden is also going to vote for that. It looks like, Courtney, if I'm understanding correctly, you're going to go with the lost but still screening. Naked dude fighting the meth addict. Rescue spam 911. That's funny. I think this says maker dude, but I bet she meant naked dude. And so there's another vote. There you go. Yes, naked. That's what I thought. So it looks like the naked number 3 Biz is going for number 3. We know Biz. Biz hangs out the whole show just for the lightning round. Like you may get a comment here or there from Biz along the way, but you could be goddamn sure that guy gets his vote in for the lightning round every week. I love it. Thank you, Biz.
Look, less is more, and you got to know when to show up, right?
Yes,
the man's a performer, the man's an artist, and power to him. I think we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen, and it is headline number 3 from WJAR. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, WJAR, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. You could say Charles Kendrick was naked and not afraid. This Wednesday, Kendrick was up playing video games around 2 a.m. Playing Grand Theft Auto, funny enough, he said. Kendrick heard a grinding sound, like something was getting cut. So he went to investigate. I'm naked, and I'm naked in my house, so I'm relaxing. I come out of the house, and naked enough, sure, there's somebody underneath my car. Kendrick approached a man, and a situation escalated. He starts swinging a sawzall at me. I start fighting with the guy, wrestling with him. He ends up elbowing me, but I still grab onto him, and I end up getting him in his phone. The cops have his phone now. The thief stole Kendrick's catalytic converter. Like, who has a car that has a catalytic converter these days?
I don't know. I don't think that's. I think you're burying the headline. The dude, like Courtney pointed out, was playing GTA naked.
Right? How do you relax that? Yeah.
How do you settle into playing video games with your dick and balls just hanging out everywhere? I don't get it.
Apparently, the catalytic converters sell at scrap yards for up to $180.
You need that meth.
I don't think he was expecting to get caught, and I don't think he was expecting to get caught by someone naked. I guarantee you that I wasn't the first one of the night, but I guarantee you it was his last. That was Mr. Kendrick, or at least a loose approximation of what we thought he would sound like at this late hour.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Biz points out they have platinum in the catalytic converter. I remember catalytic converters for a long time. They've been a thing where they get stolen off of cars. Yes, it's a big thing because they're easy to get off of the car. Apparently, again with just like a hacksaw, you can just hacksaw it off because it's just 2 tubes and it's this piece. It's like probably like that. It's like a thin kind of.
I think the lead is that this dude was swinging a sawzall, and this other guy, this naked dude, like still went at him. Like, you're swinging a power tool meant to cut metal.
What are the odds, though? What are the odds that the naked dude playing GTA was probably fucked up on some drugs himself?
What are the odds it may have been meth?
Himself, exactly, right?
Ironic.
It seems to me that the naked dude playing video games happened to catch another fucked up drug addict doing something to his car, and then 2 fucked up drug addicts fought, one being naked and hilarious,
the other one with a power tool.
Another one with a power tool, and meth is a hell of a drug, kids.
Not once, not ever, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't. It's one of those ones that you're like, oh, I'm going to try it. You don't just try meth. You don't just get to try it and see how it goes. You either do it or you don't. And I'm firmly in the terms in the don't do it team.
It's funny you mention it because, like, as we wrap the show up, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting like the 3-year anniversary or 5-year anniversary of like the crocodile thing that was going on my Facebook. Like, everybody was like, it was the bad fentanyl and the bad heroin. It was the crocodile thing, like that. Yeah, and people are injecting it, and all of a sudden, like, half their like thigh is gone. Jesus, good times. Anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening, watching, participating with the one and only Topic Thunder.
Thank you all so much for participating tonight. It was everything I hoped it would be. Everyone was participating, and we had a great time.
We really enjoy what we do, and we hope that comes across on the other side of the internet connection here, because Topic Thunder is fun for us. We hope it's fun for you. So thanks for, like Ben said, participating and joining us. We have a tournament, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tournament to get to. So as we'll roll out the graphics and stuff like that as the selection committee makes their final decisions. So you can join us as always, usually every Sunday night, but as life sometimes happens, Monday Thunder's not a bad thing. We're on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Just search Topic Thunder Podcast and you'll find us. And there are changes coming soon. Ben, do we have a trailer part coming soon?
I don't know, but we got Craig Pitbull Pittman. Ah!
Rapapa!